What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here, CVH on camera.
How's it going, guys?
And we've got a deck profile for you today. So, you guys may or may not have already seen the profile on CVH's channel for his Water Dark Light Andromeda dot deck.
Dragon Control, check it out.
Dragon Control. And here's my Fire Water Light Dragon Aggro, I guess you could call it, more or less.
I like how the Crystal Memories is just chilling in the cut.
Yeah, I ran out of room on that. But, this is the deck that I took to the set premiere. I wound up going 3-1 in Swiss. My only loss was to CVH's Water Dark Light.
Big ups.
Dragons. It was really grindy, and he pulled it out in Game 3. And then I played top 8. I played against Matt, his Fire Water Dark.
What did you beat in Swiss?
I beat a Mono Fire, Madeline's Mono Fire. I beat Gorby's Blurple. I lost to your Water Dark Light. And then I beat, who else did I play? That was a good question. Oh, I played Freddy, one of the new guys.
Cool.
In round 1, so. And top 8, like I said, I played against Matt, Water Dark Fire, and then I played CVH in top 4 again. It came down to like Game 3. It was a really grindy game, but I pulled it out with the top deck. Stormspark Blast.
Tears.
And then myself and Nate played in top 2, and he was running Saberbolt, and he wound up pulling it out in Game 3.
Sabretooth has the matchup.
Oh,
favorable matchup, that is.
Indeed. So I guess to get to the quick list real quick.
The quick?
The quick.
With the quickness.
With the quickness.
All right.
So, Herald of Infernus, the whole reason behind this deck, this was like 4 weeks ago when CVH and I were talking about the deck. Like, Lyra had just been shown, and we were just like, I gotta build a deck around Lyra. And CVH was just like, would you put your list together with Herald? Because that's really cool. And I was like, no, I didn't even think about that. So when the set dropped, I immediately put it together with Herald and all this. The idea is the progression, go Nyx to Herald to Lyra.
Or even Lux early. You have so many options.
Yeah, but Nyx to Herald to Lyra, and then kill something with Herald, and then drop just one of these big guys, and just kind of just win from there, because you've got so many creatures on board at turn 5. Should be enough to overwhelm the opponent. But that's the ideal situation. And the rest of the deck is just support towards that. So you've got a Twin Cannon Maelstrom. I'm only running 2 Herald because 3 was just bad draws. Like,
a lot of the times it was just a vanilla.
Yeah, after turn 5, you just don't want to see Herald, for real. You're just better off dropping the other dragons. But I'm running a Twin Cannon Maelstrom to help out Herald and the other dragons in dealing with Saberbolt. That's really the only reason he's in here. He's there to get me over opposing Lyras and to help me either bump or just destroy or banish other Sabertooths and just big cards that get in my way. And he worked all day. Like, he served that purpose. He helped Lux get over the 2,000 power mark a lot of the time to kill little stuff, and it was just kind of cool. And then 2 Bolt Tails is my only fast attacker, just because it gets in there and does work. You know, Bolt Tail off of a Herald kill after Lyra is just nuts. It's usually very hard for the opponent to come back on that after turn 5. And then the one-ofs, I'm running 1 Tatsurion to help deal with Blurple, and then 1 Infernus the Awakened because it just locks down boards. It's pretty much auto-win against Blurple, auto-win against Rush. And other than that, he's just gigantic at 1,300. He's very tough for control decks. They have to have the Terror Pit to get rid of him.
He says auto-win against Blurple. Well, check out that other match against Blurple.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I mean, if they have the Terror Pit at that point, they got it. But, I mean, Terror Pit's really the only card that this guy loses to. So they have to have the Pit. Which makes me wonder if I want to go up to another 2 or not, but we'll see how that goes later. I was originally running 2 instead and just 1 Bolt Tail.
Seems like a meta call.
Yeah, you just got to run the numbers. And then 2 Tatsurion the Unchained, because they're still really good. They get rid of the Firebirds, they get rid of other weak stuff, and then the 6,000 power on top of Maelstrom is kind of cool, just to run over something like an opposing Lyra or a Bolt Tail, and then untap and do other cool stuff. And then the rest of the fire is dedicated to the spells, the cheap kill Heat Seekers to help deal with other Firebirds, and Seneschals, and just all that other stuff that comes out early that's tough to deal with, the Pricklebacks and the Razor Hides. And then 2 Barrage and 2 Tornado Flame is my blasts. Moving on to Light, we've got the 3 Lyras. These guys are just unbelievable. I think the best card to come out of Dragon Strike Infernus. Like, he's just so... What is the word for when a card is just good across the board? Yeah, I mean,
not balanced, well-rounded.
Well-rounded, yeah. It's just
consistent.
He's good in everything he goes in. Lyra he comes in, he locks a card down for a turn, and then it just gives you time to just come up with better answers than what you may already have on board.
That ruling that you can target a tapped creature and just have it locked down for a turn is so crucial because it makes live versus Saberbolt when it would usually be like the deadest card. But.
Exactly. Like that's what did it for me. At first I was just like, okay, Lyra's really good, and then now it can target stuff that's already tapped. Even better. Like, it's just
even better.
So good. And then you've got Lux for the support. They can't. Lux is great if you have Infernus on board because they have to have 2 pits. So it's fantastic. Star Lantern is my little cheap chump blocker. It lets me tap stuff on the random sometimes, and otherwise I'll just hold the opponent off from attacking until I can come up with answers, or just drop big dragons and the Star Lantern just sits there and does work for me. 2 Spark Cage. I would be running 3, but I mean I didn't want to go up to above 40. But I think 2 is working out good because I dedicated the water to the 3 logos and 2 crystal memories. So.
Yeah, 2 seems fine.
But Spark Cage is really just there to tap something real quick to deal with Infernus. Otherwise, you've got Lyra, which pretty much just does it better, to be perfectly honest.
It's a late game removal spell.
Yeah, late game removal versus just the early draw kind of.
I'm saying Spark Cage is like air removal too.
Yeah. And then Star Spark Blast, of course, the awesome blast that turns around and wins games just on the random,
Tears.
Shades of DM, it just comes back and just
Shades
does
of top
work
4
for like, no reason. And then the water just as a support sieve. The 3 Nyx allow me to maintain a hand while I go through my progressions of Herald, Lyra, Unchains, and so on and so forth. The 3 Rusalkas help deal with the Saberbolt decks, and they bounce random Blurple cards like Gloom Hollows, random Screechings, Seneschal. And then they're easy spot removal for when I'm going for game with the rest of the dragons. And then the 3 Logos and 2 Crystal Memory. Crystal Memory to just, of course, help search through the deck, then through it a little bit better. And it's a shield blast, so if they hit it early, I can just pick up whatever piece I need for the progression. And then the 3 Logos. They just maintain hand throughout.
No Seneschal.
No Seneschal. Nope. It's 40 cards. I considered going up to 42 because there are some things I want to put in here, like a second Infernus.
What about Andromeda?
Another Spark Cage. Andromeda, I was in between Infernus and Andromeda, and I think I just wound up going with Infernus because it's just gigantic. Because this deck really doesn't have answers to big cards. It has no permanent removal outside of like the Tornado Flame and the Barrage, but it's for weak
And
stuff.
you have to attack over it otherwise.
Yeah,
so.
I have to attack anything that's over 6,000 power. I have to attack it, which is the reason I put the Maelstrom in here, because I just needed ways to get rid of stuff that's bigger. But so that's the one deck's problem. It just has a problem with like Sabertooths and Flame Spikes and stuff like that. Can't get rid of big guys.
But still, seems like one of the more consistent dragon builds to pop up so far.
Oh yeah, because I mean it's just CVH can attribute to this. It's just
Excuse me.
If your progression goes off, if you go Nyx to Herald to Lyra, destroy something with Herald, and then drop an Infernus or a Bolt Tail,
Yeah, just don't.
you usually don't win the game after that.
Do not play creatures against this deck unless it's a Rusalka. Unless the name of the card is Rusalka Aqua Chaser, do not play a creature against this deck early game.
Yeah.
Unless just don't. Just don't. It'll never work out well.
Yeah.
Because okay, you kill a bird, then they drop Infernus 1 turn later, and then Lyra, then they drop the Herald, then Lyra, then something else big. Just the way you gotta play against it, which worked for me, because I lost a game swiftly when I didn't do this right, but just gotta wait for the removal to the dragons, and just don't commit to the field,
and just hope.
Hopefully burn the deck out before it can drop big things.
And otherwise, I mean, because even if I'm aware of that, you can still easily just go Twin Cannon to Lyra to Tetsurion to Bolt Tail. It's just drop the big stuff. And I'm running a ton of dragons, so the top decks with this deck are usually very nice. So it works out. So
yeah.
My favorite deck to come out of Dragon Strike so far in testing. I just really enjoy it. Lyra, just awesome. And all that fun stuff. So
and all that fun stuff.
All that fun stuff. Lyra just comes down and just tears everywhere. So check out the social links below, guys. The Facebook, the Twitter, and check out CVH's channel for his deck profile of Water Dark Light, as well as a match of this deck versus Gorby's Blurple.
Yes, from the tournament.
Yes, and then the match, there will be, or you guys already saw the match of Nate versus myself in top 2. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. And hopefully, guys, we'll see you next time. Peach.